Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On this week's episode, we're covering from 1995, Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Actually, there's plenty to do on a Friday, according to this movie, In the Hood.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we hope you're enjoying the podcast, and if you are, leave that 5-star rating on Spotify. On Apple, you can leave a written review and a 5-star rating, and sit back, relax, and enjoy from 1995, Friday. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review,
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden, and be kind, rewind.
Putting something in the old V.C.R. today?
Yeah, Zap's pick this week.
Yeah, so look, man, in honor of Black History Month, commemoration of Black History, 1995's Friday.
Oh, yeah, Friday.
In my opinion, it's a truly a cult classic. Hilarity through and through. Love this movie.
I can't believe this is almost 30 years old.
I know, right?
Is that 30?
Yeah,
wow, I guess, I didn't even figure that out.
I guess we're, at 29, but yeah.
Unreal.
Makes you feel old.
It does.
For sure.
It really makes you look back.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one, release date on this, April 26, 1995. Running time of 1 hour and 31 minutes, and it was rated R. And this was directed by F. Gary Gray, who he did a lot of music videos and stuff. If you were into Ice Cube and rap music back in the day, you would see him doing a lot of music videos. This was written by Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, and produced by Patrick Charbonnet.
DJ who?
DJ who? DJ Pooh. Budget on this, $3.5 million. Box office, 27.4.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good return.
That's fantastic.
He's making money.
So filming locations on this, entirely in Los Angeles, California, within like a couple block radius, basically.
Yeah, say like a one house.
Yeah, it was. So 1418 West 126th Street, that's Craig's house. And Smokey's house is actually 1433 West 1, so right across the street.
Yep. Basically.
And even the store scene was on West 135th Street, which if you look on the map is a couple blocks away. And production began on this August of 1994, right after we graduated.
Yeah.
And filmed in about 20 days, which...
That's awesome.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, there was not much that they had to do for this other than,
There's no special effects in this.
No.
There's no nothing.
Filming
the GAT
some dialogue. Scene. The GAT, which one?
With the Mac 10s.
Yeah, true.
That probably put a couple bucks out for that. That took like maybe a day.
Yeah.
Or a night. It was filmed at night. But
yeah.
Really nothing else.
No. But that's pretty much all I have for that fun stuff, so I'll turn it over to Zap for the cast.
Ah, the cast. All right. We've got Ice Cube as Craig Jones, Chris Tucker as Smokey, Tiny Zeus Lister as Debo, John Witherspoon as Willie Jones, Anna Maria Harsford as Betty Jones, Regina King as Dana Jones, Paula J. Parker as Joy, Craig's girlfriend, Nia Long as Debbie, Craig's love interest, Bernie Mac as Pastor Cleaver, Angela Means as Felicia, Faison Love as Big Worm, Anthony Johnson as Ezel, Yvette Wilson as Rita, DJ Pooh as Red, Kathleen Bradley as Ms. Parker, Tony Cox as Mr. Parker, Demetrius Navarro as Hector, Reynaldo Ray as Red's father, Ron Reiser as Stanley, and Vicki Lynn Reynolds as Joanne, Smokey's mom.
That's quite a cast.
Quite a cast. A lot of people in this.
I guess that's it for the cast then. So Matt's got an incorrect synopsis.
Yes, it is incorrect.
So we'll listen to it and see if the listeners can figure it out, but then we'll tell them.
But on the cast right now, when they did the casting, Ice Cube, where was he in his music career at this time? Was he a name?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So he's just and this is his first like stepping into the realm of movies, right? Or no?
No, he was in Boys in the Hood.
So this is before he did all the ones with like, Are We There Yet?
And Anaconda.
Yeah,
Anaconda. Like yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And how about Bernie Mac? Was he doing comedy at the time?
I think that
Sure.
Was that Kings of Comedy or whatever? Was that out by now?
I believe so.
He was definitely probably like on HBO. Would they have that Def Comedy Jam and all that? I don't know if
Okay.
he was part of that. But Bernie Mac was like, I would think, well known by 1995.
Yep.
But sometimes I get years confused in my head. You know what I mean? What I think was going on at the time, maybe a little bit later. But actually, I think Kings of Comedy maybe was a couple years after this. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think if that was late 90s or not. Because I know a lot of people, like, I recognized in here, and I remember them from later movies. Even the mom, like I thought she was in, like, the Jeffersons or something, but I was wrong.
No.
Close. There is a fun fact on one of the characters.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay, yeah, well, hold on to that.
A few of them, actually.
But anyway, yeah, like, I was just, when I was watching this, I was like, all these characters look really, I thought the one girl was Holly Berry, but she's not.
Oh, her.
I was like, I didn't know Holly Berry was in this.
The love interest.
Yeah.
I was going to say it had to be Debbie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's hot.
Yeah, she's very hot. But okay, yeah, here I have the not so correct synopsis.
From the VHS.
Yes, from the VHS tape. Friday is a high energy comedy. That's from the New York Times. Rap's hottest star leads the nonstop laughs in this hip-hopping look at the day in the life in the hood. Ice Cube, Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning, stars as Craig, an all-right guy with some crazy friends, like Smokey, Chris Tucker, House Party 3, who has 24 hours to pay back Debo, South Central's nastiest thug, or else. Trouble is, neither Craig's mother, Anna Marie Harsford, amen, nor his main squeeze, Nia Long, made in America, has the bread. As time ticks away, the chances are these pair will ever see Saturday is fading fast. Featuring hits from the #1 soundtrack on the Billboard Pop Chart and a supporting cast that includes Bernie Mac, John Witherspoon, and Tiny Zeus Lister Jr., Friday slams into the weekend.
Mm. Yeah, so the inaccuracy there is what?
With the Debo.
Yeah.
Explain that, please.
Go ahead, Zab.
Well, according to the synopsis, if I understood correctly, according to the synopsis, the Craig and Smokey need to pay Debo
Yeah.
$200. But in reality, that is not true. They need to pay Big Worm.
Big Worm
Yeah.
or Big Perm.
What up,
Big
Big
Worm.
Worm?
You would think they would proofread this stuff.
Why bother?
Why bother?
Like, just get it out there. Let's just print this and go with it.
Yeah, I feel like they dropped the ball on that one, but
Now,
Yeah.
Big Worm, whoever that guy was, he was also one of the cool characters in this movie.
oh, it was great.
Guy's
yeah.
great.
As played by Faison Love.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it, but I don't understand the whole ice cream thing.
The truck?
Yeah.
Was he slinging drugs out of there?
I don't know. That's what I said. Well, I guess we'll get
We'll get
there.
into
But
it.
yeah, I was like, what the hell? But I liked that it was on, what were those rims back then?
Dayton's.
Dayton's,
Dayton's
yes.
with
Yeah.
stretched tires.
As we learned, yeah.
We did learn that.
L.A. Ron.
LA Ron. So that's where I knew that Anna Maria Harsford. She was on Amen.
That's the show.
Oh,
Yes.
I
Starring
forgot about Amen.
George Jefferson.
Yes, he was the Sherman Hemsley.
Sherman
Or
Hemsley.
is that Helmsley? I don't know.
Sherman Helmsley.
Helmsley.
Helmsley?
No, but
I don't know.
there was a
He was
different
great,
there was a different preacher on Amen. Remember, he always like wore the gray suits and stuff.
He
I
was
don't know.
a,
Like,
he was a taller dude.
yes.
He had the
oh, I gotta
just that 80s hairstyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check out the Amen show.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I thought it was 227. You guys remember
Oh,
that?
I love
course I do.
227. Yeah, Jackie. Is that her?
Jackie.
She was hot.
Yeah.
Mary.
I remember my dad would like say that. He's like, "Oh, there's Jackie," and I was like, "Who?
She
What are you
was-
watching?" Oh, okay, I get it.
She was stacked.
I'm pretty sure a character from this movie was also in 227. Pretty sure. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Let's find
okay,
out.
Okay.
Shall we?
So I guess we'll steer through the movie now a little bit.
A little bit. It's an easy movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This takes place over the course of one day.
One day.
One day.
Was it a Friday? I take it, and the Saturday morning.
That's
Or-
right.
Okay.
Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
This when you say that, this whole first thing when I read that on your when you put this down, it reminded me. I think it was probably I finally got a car because I was working my shitty job, and I remember I don't think you had your car yet, Zap, because you were a little bit younger. But I remember like in this movie, I would head over to Zap's house and we'd hang out on his porch. We didn't smoke the weed, maybe
Yeah.
like later in life, but I remember we'd like smoke cigarettes, sit there on his porch, and talk about how he got no job.
True. It's true.
I was like, I just got a car.
So you
That's
can
like-
you can relate.
Yeah, it's like I ain't got no
Yeah.
girlfriend because I ain't got no money. And I think we spend probably like a couple hours just sitting there bullshitting about that.
It's
And
true.
yeah, but like this whole movie, like there ain't shit to do on like a Friday when you got
Friday.
no job or nothing like that. You done with school. Like what else is there to do?
And you're
Except
young,
hang out.
you're
Yeah.
young like that.
So Craig in this was what? I think he played a guy in his early 20s, like 21, 22 years
22, as Dad said. Yeah.
old. All right. We open in suburban South Central LA. It's Friday morning at the Jones house, and we're introduced to the whole family, particularly Craig, who recently lost his job, having been fired on his day off. We soon meet Smokey, Craig's friend and a street-level drug dealer who spends most of his time getting high on his own supply. Actually, the supply belongs to Big Worm, a higher-level drug dealer for whom Smokey is supposed to be selling on consignment.
Big Worm.
What a Big Worm! Over the course of the morning, we're introduced to all sorts of locals and Craig's neighbors, including but not limited to Stanley, Debo, Ezel, Ms. Parker, Pastor Cleaver, Ms. Parker's husband, Felicia, and Red. After going his whole life thus far with not smoking weed, Craig ultimately gives in to Smokey's ongoing pestering and shares a joint with him. Big Worm arrives later to check on Smokey's progress relative to selling his weed. Despite Smokey having smoked almost all of it by himself, he attempts to pass some of the blame on to Craig. A very upset Big Worm threatens to return later and shoot the both of them if they don't produce either the weed or the money.
Yeah, I like in the beginning of this, it opens up with the converse over the telephone wire or power line.
Yep.
Like signifying there's drugs sold here.
The pair of Chuck Taylors just dangling from the telephone line. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are in the hood there.
Right.
That's the sign.
And that is the sign of drug sales, right?
Or drugs in that area.
Or it's something along those lines.
I thought that was if your one sweatpant leg was pulled up and the other one was down.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
I know the style.
Seeing dudes walk around, one leg was pulled up and one pant leg was pulled up and the other one was let down.
No.
And I think like one meant it was almost like the left earring, right earring, one is gay and one isn't.
Okay.
So the left, right leg meant you were either looking to buy or you were looking to sell.
Did not
I
know that.
didn't know that. That's some real slang there. That's some street
Yeah.
slang.
You guys don't know that?
No.
Oh,
I just remember rolling both my sweatpant legs up.
sure.
Right.
That was cool because you couldn't wear your sweatpant legs down, which was uncool.
I used to wear Fruit Loop socks, pull them up.
Shit,
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
nice.
they would be showing. But yeah, I noticed that in the very beginning. And I think that signifies like drug sales or like this is territory that's taken.
Mm.
So it's just to like signify that. And I also noticed watching this twice, as I haven't seen it in a long time, but I watched it twice. There's pictures of his dad in the very beginning when they're painting through the house, boxing. and
Boxer,
stuff.
yeah.
So foreshadowing that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
the dad was a boxer when he was young.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, like, if Officer Vince is listening to this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Like where he's traveling around and in the area that he's, you know, when
Patrolling.
he's patrolling on the beat there. If he sees any like Converse or
Yeah.
some like Pro Keds hanging up there on the
We should
on the
ask him.
wires.
Probably like Timberland.
Yeah. Now, who do they have doing that? Is there like a kid that's like really good at that? Because I can see you sitting there for like
Trying to
half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
like
but look,
sometimes trying
when you don't have
to
a
wrap
job,
them around.
when you don't have a job or nothing else to do, all you're going to do is find something to do.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be like an Olympic event someday.
That'd be cool.
And like the pole vault or the.
And then like where do you get like the sneakers to do this? Like because some of those sneakers look pretty new. Like
Yeah, some of them, but those were beat. Those
all right,
Converse,
cool.
you know what I
Like I
mean?
don't know if you just hey, it's time to hang these. Like
Right.
if that's a thing. I don't know.
Could be.
I would like to learn that.
So there's so much that goes down between the time the movie opens and the time basically Big Worm threatens to come back and shoot these guys.
Mm.
Because so we alluded to it earlier that we basically walk through the opening of the movie now all the way to the ice cream truck.
Right.
And that's it. So that's a lot of this movie, and so much character development happens in that time. So I mentioned it earlier. There's a woman that I think might have been on either 227 or Amen. I'm pretty sure it was 227.
Is that the mom?
It was this older woman that would just hang out in the window. So in the early on in the movie,
Shoot the one in the
early on in the movie, this woman shows up, knocks on the door. You know, she's a
Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. Are you
Yes,
prepared
okay.
for Jehovah's return? And then Craig slams the door and she says, "Well, fuck you, you half dead motherfucker." So that woman. Her name is LaWanda Page. She's also known as the Black Queen of Comedy. She played Aunt Esther in Sanford and Son.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't remember if I think she might have been in 227. Just one of these women that just hung out the window all the time, just looking down, like this. Like the one of the two guys from the fucking Muppet Show that they're just hecklers. I forget their names.
Yeah, she just watches like what's going on in the neighborhood and then
Correct.
jumps in.
Correct. I
The
could
two
be
guys-
wrong.
Two guys up in the balcony.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys.
Now was Esther, was that Fred Sanford's girlfriend?
It was Fred Sanford's. I think it was his sister.
Or sister, okay.
Or Elizabeth's sister.
Yeah.
And who was the
I
bud-
can picture her now. You saying that? Yeah.
Who was the buddy in that? Like what was his name? Whitey, or what did they call him?
Sanford and Sons.
Yeah, and Sanford and Son.
The son's friend.
No,
the cracked out looking old.
the old dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that he liked Esther. Like he would always bring her over flowers and stuff.
Oh man, I'd have to think.
Sanford and Son is a genius show. Like
it's
if
great.
anybody, if you hear about that, I know if somebody's listening, they're like, I never heard of that. But yeah, you need to check that show out.
Red Fox.
Red Fox is funny.
I like that in the beginning there when he's getting the cereal.
That might be the biggest Tupperware bowl I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he
that-
poured a whole fucking box in there.
They had that. It was Crunchies cereal, but it was supposed to be
Captain
Captain
Crunch.
Crunch. Right?
100% it was Captain Crunch. They didn't want to pay the royalties.
That and then the milk. It was like Amation. It said on the milk carton,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess it was carnation milk, but they blocked it out so that basically they wouldn't have to pay royalties or anything like for product placement or whatever like that.
So they deleted the C and then they extra rounded the R
Something like that.
into the end to make it Amation. Okay.
Amation, right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now the dad with the whole part where he calls him into the bathrooms.
Oh,
That shit was funny.
Apparently that's where good father and son chats happen is while dad's on the shitter.
yeah.
But he's like just you can tell he's leaving plops in the middle.
Sound effects.
Yeah,
on
it's like
that.
poop, plop, plop while he's talking to he's like, shut up, boy, listen to me. Like he's all mad at him and shit because he's not getting a job, but he's trying to like explain life to him while he's like taking his dump.
But then
and he's spraying his shit like
the whole time he ends up coming out. Now, nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.
I could almost taste the spray. You know, that has a taste.
Yeah, for sure.
In the very beginning, his dad's laying in bed. Is that a nylon on his head when he's laying in bed?
That he has wrapped around his head
It looks like a nylon stocking.
while he's dreaming about ordering burritos or chicken or something like
yeah,
that.
like the very beginning. You know which part I'm talking about?
You might be right. I think it is a nylon.
Okay.
was he like I thought that too, like he hooked up with the mom the night before or something like that, maybe like
And put it on his head, getting freaky or something?
getting freaky. I don't know. I didn't get that part.
Interesting. Could have been.
Or is it to like keep his hair like matted down?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
And his dad, you think he's about our age?
At the time?
Yeah. Or older.
Oh, that might not be so far off. So if Craig's 22,
Right.
I mean, if what's his name? If Willie Jones, if he had Craig, hell, as late as 25.
Right. It's possible.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Now John Witherspoon, I think, is a great actor. Like even the stuff where he's always like with his with his fingers and when he's eating shit, like the way he eats
He's
in
so
this movie
hilarious.
is
He plays a great
Eating them grapes.
great bit part in Little Nicky.
I didn't remember.
Yeah, and he's in Little Nicky, and he's just a bum, and he ends up Little Nicky's sleeping, Adam Sandler's character sleeping, and dude comes up and just basically picks his pockets while he's sleeping. And then he goes later to fence his stuff. So Little Nicky's character is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes over later and finds this guy. He says, give me I want my flask back. I want my flask back. And he basically, John Witherspoon says, all right, take your dumbass canteen, goofy. I'm a businessman.
That's awesome.
And he does that crazy shit with his eyes.
Yeah, he's like a good character actor like that, doing just like Matt said, and like you're saying, just the little nuances that
Mhm.
with just stuff
funny.
that like I can like he wasn't told to be that way or just act like he just came up with that and thought it'd be something funny, but you watch it.
Mhm.
And there's another part in this movie too that, like I said, there's 3 or 4 parts in this that just made me laugh out loud, and that was
Dude, there's a bunch. Again,
watching
even
him
before we
is
even
funny.
get to Big Perm, like there's so much that happens in this. Like first and foremost, the involvement of Smokey in this movie, like incredible character.
Mhm.
Fun fact: so much of his lines, if not all of his lines, were ad-libbed.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
They just made up shit.
So Chris Tucker as Smokey is great, man. He just comes over, man. You ain't got 2 things that match. You never got 2 things that match. Either you got Kool-Aid, no sugar, peanut butter, no jelly, ham, no burger.
no burger.
Damn.
Yeah, he was funny. I like that weight set outside, and it made me think about like when I was a kid. Those little bench presses where your hands are so close together,
yeah.
and you try to, they're the worst.
You pinch the pinch.
And my brother and I, when we lived in Harrisburg down in the city, when I was real young, we had this weight set, and it made me think of that. We didn't have, it came with these weights you'd fill with, I forget if you put
Sand.
water,
It's
sand.
or water. Yeah.
It was like sand or water, and they were like squared off. And you'd put them on there, and we'd bench press like in the basement and stuff. We had this little, and it made me think of that because those benches are like the worst.
Mm.
Your hands are so tight together, and when you go to put the bar back on, you're cutting your hand
Yeah,
up
it's
because
pinches
it's a
them.
thing.
I remember my dad had kind of like that same set, except it was the sand ones, but those ones I think were actually they were metal. I think that they had in this movie, right?
Yeah, they had the legit plates, but they were smaller.
Yeah, but it was funny because like you remember like when you're lifting in school, the bar is 45 pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Those things, the bar was like kind of made of like that heavy plastic.
It was like 10 pounds maybe. Yeah.
So he was lifting like 100 pounds there, like 25 pounds. I was like, what the hell?
What's he doing?
Those weight sets were dangerous as hell, man.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Again, the concept that you don't even know what you're putting. You don't even know.
You don't know.
You're not sure what you're putting in there relative to water, sand, whatever. They're plastic. That shit could rupture. It could do whatever while it's up in the air. Who knows?
Right.
I don't know, man. It's dangerous.
Did anybody ever use the leg part? It just seems like it was there to get in your way and bang your ankles on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
does anybody do leg curls on that?
I think my mom used to put clothes on there.
Yeah. I mean, that's what usually happens.
Clothes are hung up on it.
It was always a Weeder brand.
WEIDER.
Oh yeah, wider, weeder.
Weeder, whatever it is. And one other note I put down from the beginning of the movie, the dad's lunchbox.
Yeah.
I love those old school big lunchboxes
Sure.
like that.
Where the thermos was clipped up into the top of the lunchbox.
Right.
The hinge was in the middle on the back. So you would open up, your thermos is up in the top, and then your meal's in the bottom of the pail.
You knew you're a hard worker.
Shit,
You
yeah.
got one of them.
He was a dog.
Yeah.
The dog catcher.
Yep.
He was a hardworking man. He had a
Sometimes I
lunchbox.
get him in that. This is choke the dog.
I grab him and I choke him.
What's he say? Punch him up the ass. Something like
That.
that was good shit.
But yeah. Another part in this beginning, like where Craig he gives in to Smokey's ongoing pestering and shares a joint with him. Like I think of a lot of times growing up, not to say that I ever smoked weed or anything like that, but sometimes your friends.
Oh, that was me.
I didn't want to say
No,
it.
yeah, that was me, man.
But I rolled a joint. Dave came over. He's like, well, I was like, man, I got a joint. And he's like, I guess I'll try. Like, I don't know. He's like, I guess so, man. So he started smoking. We had I think my dad had albums back then. We were listening to some music, bumping. Dave's there. He's like, man, my heart kind of hurts.
My heart hurts.
And I was like, what's up, dude? He's like, man, I don't know, man. He's like, I think I need to go outside. He's like, my heart, I can feel my heart beating. And this is the exact same shit in this movie.
That's me. I was Ice Cube.
I can remember that, man. I absolutely remember with very much clarity the first time I ever got stoned smoking weed. I remember it vividly, and I was scared out of my fucking mind.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Man. Well, that wasn't even my first time. I had done it a few other times and had really good experience.
Maybe I had the chronic or something. I don't know.
You got something that had
good shit.
Because I'll never forget. I was sitting in Matt's room, and I was looking around at stuff in his room, and I think there was like a Pitt hat or something. And I looked at the hat, and I was like, Pitt, college, university, and then all this stuff started racing through my head, like thoughts that I couldn't control. And I'm like, what the hell? And then my heart started racing. I'm like, what the hell? It lasted for a while.
Yeah.
I ended up falling asleep then.
It's a thing.
But the thing with that is, it's funny too. Like sometimes if you smoke, you're at a good level. But when you're doing stuff and you get too much, I think that's when paranoia and shit starts kicking in.
100%.
You're like, man, what's this guy doing? Wait,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
And you're in the bathroom too, and you're talking. You're like, oh man, calm down. I'm okay.
That was not fun.
Yeah,
man.
not fun. I was used to think how small things were in my hand. Like if I was high at somebody else's different house, I start looking in their cabinets and shit. Grab some pills or the soap seemed so small in my hand.
That's
it was
wild.
it seemed like this little bar of soap.
Was it a hotel soap?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was just real shit. But I was like, man, why everything's so small?
Right. That's wild. I hope you didn't put something else in your hand.
Yeah, I know, right?
Unbelievable.
Everything's so small. Yeah, but no, that part was kind of that was another part that I laughed out loud in this movie because it reminded me of a kid growing up with friends.
I think we've all been there, you know what I mean, one way or another.
So when you two were hanging out, I don't remember ever seeing it. And Matt, tell me if I'm wrong. Did George ever have a 1976 convertible Pinto like Smokey had?
No, he did not.
Okay.
I don't even know how they had that thing. I don't even know where they found that.
A 76 Pinto convertible?
Yes.
Is that custom?
I don't know, man. I don't know if they ever came out with a convertible. but you saw it. It was, was hiked up in the back. It had wider tires.
But I think they rigged that. I think that was something maybe he cut the roof off.
It was almost like dune buggy-ish.
Yeah, they made it up.
Yeah.
And for sure it was made up, I'm guessing, just to really illustrate, damn, this is a broke as a joke dude with just a piece of shit car.
You would imagine that car's in somebody's possession somewhere.
I would hope.
Because it's a piece of, history.
For sure. For sure.
I don't think so. I think that car might have got away from him.
I don't know, man.
But it is like a custom pin. I saw it right away too, and I was like, is that because they show the badge on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can see the Pinto.
And then I'm like, there's no way that there's a convertible Pinto. And it looked like the rag top on the back was just kind of thrown on there. I don't even think it came up.
Yeah, maybe out in L.A. you can do that.
You can do whatever in L.A. Yeah, at that time, I don't think there was inspections like here in the great old state of Pennsylvania.
Well, apparently you can do anything you want in the hood. As I'm watching the one scene, I'm reminded of Griselda,
Oh yeah,
Blanco that we had just done the other day. It's the story of Debo and Red, how Red got the black eye and how Red lost his bike. So Red arrives with his dad, right? His dad is driving Red's Ford Escort 2-door hatchback.
Yeah.
Red gets out of the car and he's like, "Look, man, my dad told me to get my bike back. You know I wouldn't trip and whatever."
And that's DJ Pooh.
That's DJ Pooh.
Okay.
DJ Pooh plays Red, and he's like, "Come on, man, I'm just here for my bike." And Debo's like, "What bike?" And then
my bike.
And so Debo just fucking punches it, one punch, and he's up in the air and he's knocked the fuck out. And of course, that's when Chris Tucker runs over and says, "You got knocked the fuck out."
That was good. That was one of those iconic lines.
But that's like Griselda to the extent of if she didn't want to pay you, she'd kill you. If you owed her money and you didn't pay on time, she'd kill you.
Right.
Debo, what's Debo is Debo's.
But Debo just jacked people. That was like his job.
That's all he did was jack people. He'd run up. Oh, that's the word I was struggling for with this. What's it called when basically somebody comes up and is just frisking you, looking for money and checking your pockets and just hitting you up for anything and everything you have?
Jacking you.
That's jacking?
Well, no, I think, jacking just like, give me your...
Yeah, jacking.
Yeah.
Well, Ice Cube had a song called Jacking for Beats, and he took all the beats from different rap artists and rapped over them. And basically he was stealing their beats. So jacking would be, or carjacking, I guess probably along those lines. Taking anything that doesn't belong to you.
When I was younger, I took a bus ride on a Greyhound bus out to...
Get on the bus.
To New Mexico. And I remember we stopped off in Little Rock, Arizona. And I didn't have much money on me at the time. And I was getting a soda. And I was there at the soda machine. And got the soda out. Was going to, get it out of the machine. These two kids came over and like, "Give me a soda."
They took it.
Yeah, I got jacked for a soda.
Okay, then, so that's it. That is jacking.
Yeah,
jacking,
okay. But that's what I didn't really know like the whole thing then too. But like the one kid, man, you just got jacked for a soda. Like some dude behind me.
That's crazy.
I was like, these two, you're like, "Man, give me your soda." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "I just got the soda out." Man, give me a fucking soda.
Older
give
kids?
me a soda.
Or just because there was a couple of them.
There was I think they were like high school kids.
Oh wow, that's
I was
crazy.
Probably like 18, 17.
Oh okay.
It's
so yeah, but it was a group of kids. It was like 3 or 4 kids, and you're like, "Give me a soda."
I guess pick your battles.
Like out of nowhere, yeah, that's what. And then, but when I was like, "Hey, take the goddamn soda."
Look, who's to say they might have been pulling out knives out of their pockets or something.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, why get stabbed for a soda,
50-cent soda back then.
Dang.
Yeah.
But it was a busy like I don't know but I don't know like it would help.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You're waiting for Julio to jump out.
Yeah, but it was a really busy place to be at. Like the bus station was like the middle of the afternoon. Like we stopped there, like getting people on, and it was people everywhere. But the guy's like, "Give me a soda, man. Give me a soda." And I'm like, "I think goddamn soda."
That's messed up, man.
That is.
That's real
man,
messed
I got
up.
jacked for a soda, man.
So as we're meeting these characters, another one, a classic, is Ezel. Now, is what he does, is that considered jacking? For example, we see Craig and Smokey show up at the convenience store in Smokey's 1976 Ford Pinto convertible. And in there is Ezel catches them and he follows them in because he's jacking, what's his name? Smokey for, "Look, buy me a 40. I'll come back later and wash your car." Okay, so then Smokey goes in. Ezel goes in and he attempts a slip and fall.
Yeah,
he does a slip and fall. "Oh, my neck and my back. I want $150,000, but we can settle out of court right now for $20.
Yeah,
is that jacking?
No, like jacking to me would be more by force. Like like go up, invade your personal space. You know what I'm saying? Like when Debo goes up and rips the chain like off, him, or goes up and like reaches in your pocket. "I'm gonna take something from you," like forcibly versus like pestering, almost begging.
I don't think crackheads can jack people.
No,
I don't think. They're too cracked out.
Did you know who the janitor, or not janitor, but the guy cleaning up in there in the store?
Was he the director?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's either the director or the producer, but yeah.
Yeah, F. Gary Gray, that was him. And how about that part we were talking about with the
Black owned?
Yeah, that was funny.
So the Chinese guy owns and runs this store, but he's dressed like in hood gear, right?
Yeah,
he's got the
hat on and the
beanie, the big clothes, whatever. He's like, "What up?"
Right.
Black owned. And then when Smokey leaves, stay black, man.
Yeah, I like the gong. They hit that gong noise when it
Hilarious.
comes up. They don't do that anymore in movies and stuff as much.
I think it's
Oh, like when it would be
It's
at
like a
best,
woke thing.
it would be pejorative at best. But
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Like what they did ridiculously with Long Duck Dong in
Yes.
16 Candles.
That's right. That came up in that too, but you don't see that anymore. Yeah.
Not at all. Oh, Ms. Parker. We got to see Ms. Parker in this whole thing.
Mm.
We also got to see Pastor Cleaver show up.
Oh yeah, that
That's
was
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac.
Yeah. So they're walking by Miss Parker. Man, I knocked the dust off of that pussy. The Reverend shows up. I love this. Excuse me, brother. What we call drugs at 74th Street Baptist Church, we call a sin is sin. Smokey responds, well, round here, between Normandy and Western, we call this here a little 20 twin.
I didn't get the 20 twin. What's that?
20 bag.
20.
Oh,
bag.
a 20. I
okay,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't get that part. The 20 twin.
So you had a nickel bag, dime bag, then a 20 bag.
You know, I didn't realize how many things you say, specifically Zap.
Correct.
on
Yeah, there's
this.
a lot of zapisms.
So I
Yeah.
have that here. As chance would have it, there's one that I know I use a lot on this show, and that's, oh, hell no. Who's that bitch?
Yeah. And the other one, you ain't got the lie.
You ain't got to lie.
Yeah, those.
They get used a lot, and I haven't seen this movie probably since back then. So
It's that scene is so good that you ain't got to lie. So Craig picks up so his girlfriend, Joy,
mhm.
is just awful. Just a terrible, terrible woman.
I like her.
She's just on him all of the time, though, and just making
I
shit
do
up.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is interesting in that scene where that comes from. Craig picks up the phone. Hello. She just starts out with, who the fuck you go to the show with last night? Craig responds, I didn't go to the show last night. Joy immediately, you ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. But laying next to her in bed is a dude.
Oh, for real? I didn't,
There's
I
notice
didn't see that part.
There's a dude laying in bed. You just see his back, and you see he's wearing blue shorts.
Oh shit! I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, I was looking at her.
So in the beginning, though, when Pastor Cleaver comes over, why he comes to Craig's house, he's asking for Craig's mom.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Yeah, you know.
Mm.
I also, and maybe it's nothing, but like Chris Tucker was way into that Miss Parker, which she's hot.
Yeah.
But he also kind of gave Craig's mom a weird look.
He did.
Yeah, he was
came out.
He was
So,
cougar action.
Is he
Yeah.
looking into the mom too a little
Yeah.
bit? I was wondering about that.
But no, the pastor, he first came over, I think, to knock Craig's moms off.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you guys didn't take notice of that.
Yeah, he
didn't-
came over. He said, "Where's Sister Jones
Where's
at?
Sister Jones?
And
And they're like,
she
yeah,
said-
don't you worry about it. Yeah.
She's not home, and neither is Willie, or neither is my dad, Brother
Mr.
Jones."
Brother Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't catch that. So you think he's going around in the neighborhood?
Sure.
with the
Yeah,
pastor?
they're showing the pastor as the
Just
devil.
looking to get a little stink on his
Mm-hmm.
Johnson.
What kind of ride was he in? That looked like a Buick or something. You
No, I
know
think it
what
was a Cadillac.
It
with the
wasn't a
flatback.
Cadillac.
It wasn't?
I don't think it was a Cadillac. It was a GM product. I'm
The Buick,
thinking Oldsmobile, Buick.
The mom was driving a Buick.
No,
No,
the mom was
the mom
driving a
drove a
Volvo.
Volvo. Was it?
Yeah.
Damn.
But the pastor was driving something with like wire rims, you know what I mean? Like a GM product.
It could have been a lower, like there's.
Mercury Cougar.
No,
I
that's
thought maybe like a low-level Cadillac, like
That's what I thought it was, a Cadillac
like
with
the
the
entry,
flatback.
the entry-level model.
What
in
was
the
that?
Cadillac.
That cheap one, the Cimarron or something. Remember the little Cadillac?
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
No, he was driving a Caddy, I'm pretty sure.
It wasn't a big floating boat or anything like that. Not at all. Like he wasn't big pimping. It was just it was a modest ride,
Right.
but possibly that entry-level Cadillac.
What was that ride your mom had? Matt, it was like a Buick Riviera. or
Riviera.
something. Those were pretty.
Yeah.
Those were pretty nice. I like those old GMs like that.
Hell
The
yeah.
big ones. They're cool.
Yeah, I think it was like that flat. Wasn't it like that?
Oh, that is.
That's
That's
it.
It was-
1981
yeah.
Cadillac.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was into these.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember my one uncle had one.
Yeah,
Because
those
I
are-
remember the flat back I saw. I was like, that's a Caddy.
Okay.
It could be again like an old Eldorado. They're just again entry-level Cadillac, just whatever.
The Sevilles.
Seville's.
Could be a
Mhm,
Seville.
Caddy Seville.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actually, the brand he had, I think, was called an Elegante.
Yeah. I think that thing rides nice, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure.
So what's her name's Ms. Parker's husband? Is that dwarf? What's his name? Tony Cox?
Oh, yeah. I know him from like other stuff.
The Santa movie.
He was in
Bad Santa.
Elf.
Was he in Bad Santa?
Was he an elf too?
I don't know if he was in. I don't think he was an elf.
Oh,
but
he wasn't. Okay.
I for damn sure know he was in that movie.
That was Peter Dinklage.
Me, Myself, and
Yeah.
Irene.
Oh, yeah. He was the dad.
Correct. He fathered all of those
Yeah, he fathered all
genius
the
black
kids.
kids.
Yes, yes. And Jim Carrey thought they were his.
Yeah,
That's
they were
correct.
his. He never. And all his friends were kind of like,
Yeah.
it's okay if you and her break. He's like, oh no, these kids are great. I would never leave her.
Yeah, that dude from Blackish. He's funny as hell. It was played one of his sons. You know, that main guy from the show Blackish on
The
ABC.
chubby guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Anthony Anderson or something
Mhm.
like that. He was hilarious in that.
But no, he. Yeah, I think he was in Bad Santa. He was one of the guys
Yes,
that he worked
you're
with.
right.
Yeah.
Billy Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Certainly not Elf, though.
No,
I don't think so.
I was thinking, but that's
That would be way too easy.
Peter Dinklage. That was it.
Wait, what was his name?
Tony Cox.
Tony Cox. Yeah, he's in a bunch of, but he's a good actor too.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough of him in this movie.
He played, no, he didn't. All right. Meanwhile, back in the movie, Smokey departs Craig's house in hopes of going home to calm his mind and relieve his bowels. A brief run-in with Ezel ends with, "Hey, Smokey's back here taking a shit."
Smokey's like, don't say anything, man, stop. Don't say anything. And then right away he yells it out.
Fun fact, quick little interlude. I use that too. I don't necessarily use it around here, but there's whenever I see a black cat walking around, it's called Smokey.
The
Right?
cat.
Yeah. So either it might have been, it probably was my wife that called that cat Smokey, or she had a cat named Smokey or some shit. It was again a black cat. So whenever I would see a black cat walking around, I was like, "Hey, Smokey!"
That's funny.
Isn't Black Hat also a Janet Jackson song?
It is.
Could very well be.
That's a tie-in.
Meanwhile, Craig's girlfriend, Joy, has paid him a visit. She's known to be the jealous type. And just when Craig has almost sealed the deal to borrow the $200 from her in order to pay off Big Worm, janky-ass Felicia arrives to see if she can borrow his V.C.R. This infuriates Joy, who leaves Craig penniless.
Now, don't Joy live in the hood? Don't she know these people, like Felicia being the crackhead, like walking around trying to get money from people?
I guess maybe, but maybe not.
She might be from another part of L.A., you know.
I mean, it's a
Nah, she
big
lived
area.
right down the street, right?
No, I don't know.
Because remember, Debo was up with her at what's her name's sister?
No.
No.
Her sister's the other girl, the crackheaded looking one.
So Debbie, let's everyone be clear. Joy is the one who's the vicious girlfriend. She's an
Yes.
awful, awful girlfriend. You ain't got to lie.
Yes.
Oh, hell no. Who's that bitch? That's her.
That's Joy.
That is his girlfriend. He has a love interest named Debbie, the one with the shortest haircut, the
one that
fitness one.
The one that was running in
That's
the beginning.
correct.
Wasn't
yes.
Felicia Debbie's sister? Because remember, she was
Correct.
laid up with Debo.
Felicia is
but not
Debbie's
Joy,
sister.
But
Not Joy, no. But
Yeah.
Felicia, she was behind. And like I was saying, wouldn't Joy know who the hell Felicia is? Like the crackhead walking around trying to get money off everybody?
Not
Well, maybe not
necessarily.
if she's from like another part of LA.
Okay.
Maybe she's like not aware of everybody in the. It's
Who
not,
the hell this bitch?
That's correct. That's correct. As soon as she sees actually that's that. Oh hell no, who's that bitch? Yeah, she says that about Felicia.
Yes, that's her thing. I
Oh
like that.
hell no, who's that bitch?
I think Joy is hot. I don't
Oh, yeah.
understand. Yeah, if
You
I was
must-
Craig, I'd be like, whatever you need, Joy.
You must be crazy.
I am.
No,
Joy
Joy.
is the furthest thing from hot.
I like
Well,
it
yo,
too, man.
She was hot.
I'm missing. I'll take Debbie over Joy all day.
I mean, I like Debbie too, but I'm just saying.
I'm down for the Joy ride.
I love it.
You
She
know what I'm
comes
saying?
over. Let me borrow your VCR.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to play some tapes.
Yeah.
That's like me asking to borrow your air conditioner.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Borrow your air conditioner.
so Smokey returns, and he and Craig contemplate what to do next. Craig obtains his gun in hopes of protecting both of them, but his father intervenes and convinces him to use his fists whenever a squabble needs to be squashed. As if Big Worm weren't enough problems, the whole neighborhood still has to deal with Debo, who does nothing but hassle everyone and run them down for money or anything else they have. That's also known as jacking, by the way.
So was that Craig's gun then, or was that his dad's
No,
gun?
that's Craig's gun.
So Craig got a gun. His dad's all cool. Like, oh, put your gun away.
That's right.
Okay.
The day turns to evening. The evening turns to night. Craig makes his best efforts at borrowing $200 from both his sister and his mother, but to no avail. After a hookup with a girl gone terribly wrong, Smokey attempts to steal the $200 from Debo while he's sleeping, but Ezel appears and ruins the whole plan. 10 o'clock is but an hour or so away, and time is running out. So that hookup with that girl, before I forget about it, this is Smokey, who was, somebody referred to him like, hey, there's this girl that you might be interested, you should give her a call.
Yeah.
And he calls this girl, she tells him, oh yeah, man, I look like Janet Jackson and blah, blah, blah. And she shows up. She's driving a Nissan Z. just when they had converted to that complete flat look, almost like the Corvette look from the mid '80s.
Real long.
Yeah. So she shows up. She is a huge bitch, and not just a huge bitch. She takes her hat off, and all of her extensions are actually sewn into her hat. So she's just got this bald head. The reaction of Smokey is just priceless. He just looks right at her head. Damn!
She's bald.
Yeah, it was funny.
God damn.
Get lied to like that over the phone. She sounded hot on the phone.
She did kind of look like Janet Jackson though at first. I mean, she had that hat, like she was with the movie with Tupac.
Right.
She was actually Janet Jackson was in a
Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice. Yep.
That
she wore that same type outfit. She had the hair like that. The hat.
That girl was in Poetic Justice.
Oh, was she?
True story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What girl?
The fat girl with the extensions sewn into her head, sewn into the hat.
Oh, she was
in
okay.
Poetic Justice, which yes, again included Janet Jackson.
You know, I was thinking of Smokey, and if he was that hard up, why didn't he just sell that car for $200?
Sure.
That Pinto.
Did Witherspoon get attacked by the dog yet?
Who?
What?
The dad.
The dad, John Witherspoon.
That was on the video.
What's that?
That was on a movie he was watching.
But I'm saying
he was laying up in bed watching that movie.
Yes,
he was laying in bed because he had gotten bitten. By
he had gotten bit by
you.
Remember, he came in. He had the thing on his butt.
That's right. That's right.
And but he's watching a movie.
Yep.
And he's like, "Watch out for the dog."
I got a fun fact on that.
He's like, "Get that postman! Watch out, Mr. Postman!"
Yeah.
Shit had me laughing. That was good.
Do you want to drop the fun fact now or save it?
No, go ahead. If you
go ahead
it,
if you got it.
Might as well do it now that we're talking.
No, go
about
for it. Go for it.
No, do you have it there?
No.
Okay, hold on.
But no, the whole thing with him and like how involved he was in his job.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I don't know what movie he was watching. Is that on the fun fact?
It was a 1993 movie. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, so it's called Man's Best Friend.
There you go.
Okay.
It's about a genetically engineered homicidal dog.
Okay.
So I do remember that movie when I read that fun fact. I'm like, oh, I remember Man's Best Friend. That movie came out.
But for him to be sitting there like watching it, like where did he get? Was it on TV? Was it like did he have a V.C.R. tape of it?
It was probably on HBO or something.
Like I can see him like watching this movie over and over again because it reminds him of the dogs, like just trying to get them and how bad they are. And
or back then it could have been the Movie Channel.
Could have been.
That's not around anymore, right?
No, it's around.
It's just the Movie Channel still around.
100%.
What's the one that went away? Prism, and then
Yep.
I feel like there was another.
Prism went away. HBO I think bought out Prism.
I know that. So there are
look out, Mr. Postman.
There are parts within this section now that are great. So we understand why Smokey twitches as much as he does. If you didn't notice, like Smokey has this twitch about him. It's because he had. So you also would have noticed that he has this inner little beef with a guy named Hector.
Hector, yeah.
So it's because that at one point he was getting high with Hector and a friend of Hector's, but these guys had laced this joint with angel dust.
I hit that shit hard, man.
Also known as PCP. Man, I'm smoked dog. I've been smoking since I was 2.
Yeah.
But he was telling Craig how he hit the shit hard. He's like, it was angel dust.
I think that's what's in that stuff at your house that time.
Nah, man.
He was so dude. He was
that was some love boats.
Love boats.
Love
you gotta
boat.
get that downtown.
Dipped them in bombing fluid. Or something.
Correct, formaldehyde. Smokey, after smoking the PCP, like he's all over the place. He's running down the street naked. He woke up in Debo's chicken coop. Or I'm sorry, pigeon coop.
Pigeon, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Debo ends up enlisting the help of, again, this is all just during the segment. It is amazing that $200 seems to be like the running number. So Debo comes over, tries to jack, thank you again for that word, tries to jack Craig and Smokey for whatever they've got. But Stanley, the next door neighbor guy, like the whitest black guy you'll ever see that drives the Corvette.
The vet.
Stay off of my grass, that guy.
The Hugh Hefner outfit.
That's right.
Yeah.
They end up breaking into his house, and Debo steals $200. Of course, Smokey comes back. Yeah, man, we got $200. And Debo says, I got $200. Right. Again, whatever Debo's is Debo.
Yeah.
So much comes from, the immortal, 2 common phrases, puff, puff, give. That definitely came out of this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Puff, puff, give, and bye, Felicia, which took years to catch on as a common thing. Certainly, you've both heard somebody anywhere say bye, Felicia.
I've heard it. It was in. I actually said it in the NWA movie.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
yes, they did. Straight out of Compton.
Yeah,
indeed.
The pigeon coop, isn't that like a thing in the inner cities? I know
Having pigeon coops?
Yeah.
Like Tyson. He's weighing in
Tyson used to like raise pigeons. There's a pigeon coop here in our neighborhood. Did you ever
Is
see
it?
the pigeons flying around?
No.
It's right on the corner.
Yeah, you see that in New York City, like on the rooftops.
Mm-hmm. They like
pigeon.
pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
You can do fun things with them. Like, yeah, again, they're
They're
carrier pigeons.
Yeah,
They-
dive
send
pigeons.
messages and stuff.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's like the ravens from back in the day, way back in the day, medieval days.
You should send the write-ups
Yeah,
like via pigeon. Or we
yeah. Forget email. I'm just going to send them via pigeon.
that Gmail's screwing up.
It might get here quicker.
Use the pigeons, yeah.
Who's to say?
Yeah, I didn't get that again. The write up. It's not coming into my.
Really?
Yeah, it's not coming into my emails, which is odd.
That's messed up, man.
Mm.
There's another scene in this. Matt, I think we were talking about this one before. So we're later in the night. Debo has just finished having his way with Felicia, as they are a couple.
Having his way.
Well, doing whatever Debo does with her, and he's there
Sure,
sleeping.
Debo tearing that up.
Smokey, correct. And Smokey wants to go in knowing that they owe Big Worm $200. He knows that Debo has $200, so he attempts to break in while Debo and Felicia are sleeping and get the money out of Debo's shirt. However, as he's sneaking around, Ezel shows up and ruins the whole damn thing.
That's your favorite part.
Yes, that's one of the favorite parts.
That's priceless. The way he just escapes, or like Debo wakes up and he looks around and all of a sudden you just hear this wind blow, and away went Smokey.
That stinky straw.
Because he put his shit underwear on.
Oh, that was nasty.
Now, I like in some of these movies where they show like the hood type scenes and stuff. You always have like that crackhead. So it's like hanging around. You can't like get mad at him. You can't like because they got nothing. The guys won't crack, so you feel bad for him. But that's like Ezel's character is
correct.
Just comical like the whole time because you can't. It's kind of like a little brother. You don't really want to hurt the guy, or you know him from the hood growing up, and all of a sudden he took a wrong turn on the crack.
I got that same impression on two characters from this. So definitely the crack guy, because fun fact. So DJ Pooh, who played Red, the guy that Debo jacked for his bike and the chain that his grandma gave him, his real life brother was the equivalent of Ezel. Like cracked out, always hitting people up for money. So he used that real life experience to write the character of Ezel. Two, Red himself. Red himself just reminds me of any one of think of anyone's like younger, skinnier, lamer brothers that's just everybody just beats the shit out of him because they can. He's just a target.
Easy target.
Well, that's why, his dad, he probably lives at home with his dad, mom,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when his dad brought him to get the bike.
The Debo, and he got out, and even Debo bullied him back in the car, you know what I mean?
But that sounds like something like dads did back in the day. I could say, get in the car, we're going to the house, you're going to ask for you know what I mean?
Right.
Get your bike back.
Well, he
Get
should
your
have went
bike
over
back.
and bent the handlebars. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
my
saying?
dad did that.
Yeah. That would have been George.
I forgot that story.
Yeah.
Big G would have said, get in the car.
You think Big George would have fought Debo?
I don't know, guys. I think guys back then were more manly than us today. Like
100%.
Mm-hmm.
They would at least put up an effort, like you said, because I think you're not thinking of getting shot ever.
Today I'd show up with JW.
Yep.
With a lawyer.
Take pictures.
Forget that.
JW in his briefcase.
So forget consulting the police. You're just going to go right to the lawyer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what everything is today. Everybody lawyers up for everything.
Pretty much.
Nobody just punches anymore.
Nope.
It's a shame.
No, or you're stabbing or bringing like guns to school.
His dad does have it right, though. I mean, that's how it was when I grew up. People would just fight.
Yeah.
You would get in a fist fight. If you had, after school, and people would usually gather around, everybody knew there was going to be a fight, and you would fist fight. And that's just what it would, and it changed at some point now into you just get shot, and it's a shame, but this is how things go, I guess.
But it's true, yeah. Sometimes you get your ass whooped, sometimes you don't.
Right.
But then you go on with life. I mean, you live another day, you learn a lesson, or the other guy, and then you usually after like a quick fight like that, you were kind of cool with the person. Like, man, whatever, it's good.
And most fights were just mostly wrestling matches. You tackle each other, get in the ground, couple punches, and then
Your friends pull you off each other,
and then it'd be it.
Yeah.
And then you'd be cool, and it'd be over with and stuff. But yeah.
Well, by now it's 9:30. Smokey receives a page from Big Worm, and Smokey doesn't have either of Big Worm's weed or his money. 10 p.m. arrives, and Craig and Smokey find themselves in the middle of a drive-by shooting thanks to Big Worm's henchmen. Just as the dust settles from the machine gun fire, poor Felicia and her sister, Debbie, arrive to confront Debo for beating the shit out of Felicia. After receiving a scolding from Debbie, Debo lands an open hand to her face, sending Craig into a frenzy to protect his love interest from the neighborhood bully. Reconsidering the use of his gun, Craig instead takes his father's advice and uses his fists. Just when we think the chips are down for Craig, he retaliates with a brick and a series of devastating punches, and Debo gets knocked the fuck out. Smokey swiftly takes $200 out of Debo's pocket. Red reacquires the chain that Debo had taken from him earlier and gets his bike back, and Ezel takes Debo's sneakers, because Ezel steal, he don't kill. The movie ends with our hero getting his job back and breaking up with his lousy girlfriend, knowing he's now got the lovely Debbie to look forward to in his life, and with Smokey settling his debt with Big Worm and committing to go to rehab. But he was just bullshitting about going to rehab. And you know this, man.
It's kind of like a modern day David and Goliath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Debo being Goliath.
I mean, he got hit in the head with a brick.
Yeah, big time.
This is where the movie. This is where I lose it. This is where the movie lost me.
What?
This is where I was enjoying this movie up to this last point. Because all right, first of all, the movie's fun the whole time. I mean, you got Big Worm showing up with permed hair, with curlers in it, great cars and stuff like that. Good music.
Great cars is right.
But you get to this point where they try to have like a serious mess. I mean, there was a drive-by, for God's sakes. I mean, Uzi fire all over the place.
Right.
No, there's no, like, people really don't care about that. I guess they're trying to say, this happens, this occurs. Which the dad was saying, though, like, I moved to this neighborhood so you don't have to deal with that.
Right.
But so they show the whole Mac 10, the shootings everywhere. That part's forgotten about.
Also an artist on here, Mac 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you mess with me, you're going to mess with the Mac 10. But...
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, just going into the part with Debo too. Like, I mean, this guy, like, you pulled a gun on him.
He didn't flinch.
Well, not that part, but you pull a gun on somebody anywhere, and the person gonna come back with a gun. That's what I said. If you pull a gun on somebody, you better kill them because they're gonna come back and kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he pulled a gun on him, punked him out with that, hit him with a brick, knocked him out. When Debo wakes up, I don't want to be around.
So you want to? Well, there was a sequel to this.
There was.
Yeah.
There were 2 sequels. And in fact, Debo did in fact come after him in the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But the whole part it kind of got like a serious tone at the very end. I think they just should have left it funny.
But do we think Debo, which I'm sure I saw next Friday. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
I don't even remember, but maybe Debo never used the gun. He didn't really need to.
So Debo broke out of prison. He and Tyrone broke out of prison. They were making their way to Craig, but then they found that Craig had relocated to Rancho Cucamonga to
Is
live
that like suburbs?
the suburbs to live with his uncle Willie, or not his uncle Willie, his uncle I forget, and his cousin Day Day that was outside of the hood and blah blah blah. His uncle, you may or may not recall, had won the lottery, bought this lavish house, etc., etc. So Debo and his sidekick Tyrone make their way out to, again, they find him out in Rancho Cucamonga, just as the cops were arriving to settle another dispute that had happened with one of Day Day's neighbors, some Mexican guys that were dealing drugs.
They had a plan to break Debo out of prison.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. So I guess it doesn't end there. But
So
I get what you're saying. It
doesn't end there.
Yeah.
But like for the movie to be so funny and everything, and then they had to have like this serious
At the end.
At the end, it made no sense to me, especially with the drive-by. Was pretty like that was raw.
I don't know. I liked the moral of or not the moral, but the morality of, look, man, stop the violence, increase the peace, put the guns down. If you got a beef with somebody, you got whatever, punch it out.
Yeah,
Punch
that part had a good message, but I'm saying like the whole drive-by thing, I think they could have done without that.
Yeah.
Well, you take a drug dealer's money or his drugs and you don't pay him, you're going to get it.
But I think like the Big Worm thing, they could have made it funnier. Like there was so much to do with that part.
Yeah.
Like instead of like he could have like a bunch of guys got out of like the ice cream truck and were like beating them with like.
Now that would have been funny.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like a clown car type thing. And they went after him. Kind of like how the kid on the bike.
Or Nerf guns.
Nerf guns, yeah, something funny.
Water guns. But no, I know what you're saying though. It did. You're right. I get what you're saying. It was a comedy the whole way through, and then it got a little serious at the end. But I get what Zap's saying too. I took it more as like Ice Cube was using it as a way to like maybe send a message to the youth and like, hey, look, this is how you should settle things.
Yep.
Kind of like
Yeah, the
I
fist
don't
fight
know.
part, that was good. But the drive-by was like, it was thrown in there for like 3 minutes of weird. And they're like running away from it like it's funny.
Right.
Like their feet, like you see like the bulls. But I mean, they unloaded, that was like 1,000-some rounds on that.
But Matt, I'm with you. There was certainly a serious aspect to this movie. That is to say, a seriousness.
In the last like 5 minutes.
Correct. There was an ever so slight level of seriousness, and I say all of that just to, if it helps. Next Friday and Friday after next are completely lighthearted.
No seriousness.
There's no seriousness at all.
Well, you think about like sitcoms. They do that a lot on those, half-hour shows that are comedies, and then they get serious like at the end, and the audience goes, "Ooh,"
Like,
they do that. Like
What was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where like the
Yeah.
cops?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Uncle Phil
Oh.
gets pissed,
Yeah.
and it gets serious all of a sudden.
And then they're mad at like somebody said something and ooh.
Fun
Fun
facts. Oh, guess it's about that time. Anybody want to start or?
Fun fact: the lion's share of the lines in this movie were ad-libbed.
I know you said that about Chris Tucker, so a lot of them, even outside of him, Ice Cube and all that.
Definitely outside of it was not just Chris Tucker; it was most of them.
So, fun fact on this for one of our favorite formats: this was released on VHS on October 10th, 1995, on DVD March 2nd of '99, and not until September 8th, 2009, could you see it in high definition on Blu-ray. So, just looking at the different formats this movie came out over the years. This movie released right in the heart of VHS, where it was kind of DVD was coming in I guess around 98 when DVD would have been coming out. But yeah, thought that was pretty cool. Any fun facts?
Oh no, Chris Rock and
the people that were going to be in it,
and Tommy Davidson for Chris Tucker's part.
that would have been cool.
But I think all three of them were like the same person. So
well, Chris Rock, that would have been a lot more money, I bet.
yeah, they couldn't put that up.
I think Chris Rock would have made an incredible Ezel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would have been funny.
That would have been fantastic.
He could have went back to that. How much for one rib?
Yep.
That guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
What was that movie from?
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
No. It was.
Don't be a menace.
Don't be a menace.
Yep.
Okay. They said that the Ice Cube and F. Gary Grace stated that they modeled this movie after Clerks from 1994,
Okay.
which I don't really see. I mean, I guess maybe the way they filmed it. I know they were talking about making this in black and white to save money.
Yep.
Because they were trying to cut budget.
Oh jeez.
But outside of that, which Clerks was in black and white, correct?
It was, and we are going to. That's going to be next in one of my.
One of
next,
those ones, yeah.
In my when it gets to be my pick again, Clerks is going to be close to the top of the list.
I was just watching that the other day.
Yeah, I love
Actually.
Clerks.
I can see how this could be modeled or was considered to be modeled after Clerks because Clerks is it is one day.
One day in the life
Yeah.
of, okay.
With
Makes
two
sense.
guys chilling, talking about bullshit and people coming into their lives.
Yep.
Now, Zap, I think you said something that maybe you have the same fun fact. So something about the clothes that Ice Cube was wearing.
Indeed. So on the set of this movie, red clothing of any kind was absolutely 100% strictly forbidden because where this was filmed, this location, you're right smack dab in the middle of Crip territory.
Crippage.
Which is red.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, so you can wear that.
No, sorry. Crip is blue.
Or, I'm sorry,
So
Crip is blue
yeah,
and
if
the
they see
Bloods
any-
are red. Yeah, you're
Yep,
right.
yep.
You're right. I had on here that the clothes that Ice Cube has on at the beginning of this movie are the same ones that he was wearing at the end of Boys in the Hood.
Doughboy.
Also true.
Same
Yeah.
outfit, I guess.
Also true.
And they said in that area too, isn't that where the director was born and raised? That was his
Yes.
actual neighborhood.
They filmed the one scene where they're shooting
At his
craps
house.
At his house,
That's-
right?
okay,
Growing up.
yeah.
And
The scene where they're shooting craps,
yes.
that was actually the film debut of
And I didn't see him there. Like I
He's
wasn't
there.
paying attention, I guess.
who's the big black guy?
Ryan Clark Duncan or whatever.
That guy. It was
Michael Clark Duncan, I guess.
yeah, him. He's just in one of the circle of guys playing.
Is that the Green Mile guy?
Yeah, Green Mile. He was also in Armageddon.
That's a big dude.
For me, a lot of these movies, the soundtrack is where it's at.
This was a very good soundtrack.
One song that stood out to me right away, and then when I looked, I was like, that's who it was, because it has a very unique sound, much like Cypress Hill. Funk Dubious is the name of the group.
Okay.
So the scene where they're playing craps and the dad and Red pull up,
Yep.
they're playing Funk Dubious. It was kind of like
My dad wants me to get my bike back.
Right.
You know, he just tripping. You know, I wouldn't do that.
So their beats and everything were very much like Cypress Hill, and the guy is voice, Son Doobie, was the lead guy from Funk Doobie.
Was that his birth name?
Yeah, his birth name is Jay Vasquez.
Okay.
But DJ Muggs, who does all the beats for Cypress Hill, did all the beats for Funk Dubious. So that track stood out to me. I used to love Funk Dubious. I had their one album in high school. There was a couple good tracks on there. Also on here was a track by the Alcoholics. I don't know if that made it into the movie. They're another group that I really like, the Alcoholics. I don't know if you remember them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you might like this one. And I don't know this song, but there was a group called Zapp, Z-A-P-P, and the song is Heartbreaker. Part 1 and 2. I got to look that up. I think Zapp did Computer Love.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that song from the 80s.
No, I'm just following you.
Do you know that one? Yeah, we have to look that one up. I'm about to play that for you then.
Interesting.
But, yeah, for me, it's always about the music and a lot of these. And, yeah, this had some good tracks on it.
I like the old school. They kept a lot of the songs old school in this.
Well, speaking of old school,
yes,
there's one in here that's absolutely a favorite of mine. It's Curtis Mayfield's Little Child Running Wild. So that was featured on the Superfly soundtrack.
Okay.
To be clear, the original Superfly. Incredible soundtrack. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Curtis Mayfield just destroyed the music world with this. Just so good.
Who did Mary Jane, that song?
I
when
know
they were getting high.
See, that's a good song.
Yeah,
that was the original. Like, yeah.
I get what you're saying with the old school tracks.
You, Mary Jane.
Just the little nuances in those songs are like they get you. You know what I mean?
That wasn't Parliament, was it?
It could have been George Clinton in Parliament.
I don't think that was Parliament. They had a Mary Jane, but I think that one was like a Curtis Mayfield type cat. Like I don't know. I'd have to look it up then, but it might be. I don't know.
That's an era of music that I like when I hear all the songs.
That's because it was all sampled in the 90s. They took all those songs and took all the samples and used it as our songs growing up.
The West Coast stuff.
It's amazing that that's the stuff that they grew up with listening to. That's cool as shit. Fun fact, there's a part in the movie where as Craig's dad, as Willie is saying to Craig, like trying to convince him why he doesn't want his kid to use a gun, like, put the gun away, don't use the gun. This is while they're in the house talking. He actually says to him, look, I don't want to bury you. I don't want to have to bury my own son. Besides, you know what a funeral costs these days? Like $4,000, $5,000. Fun fact, the cost of a funeral these days, or at least a couple of years ago, was like $15,000, $16,000.
Oh, yeah.
So it's amazing to hear what it was 95 versus, 20 years later, 25 years later.
The difference in price, yeah.
I tell you what, it's
inflation.
Like $25,000.
Jeez, it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Caskets ain't cheap.
Not to be confused with Willie's hair, to which Chris Tucker says, he's talking to Ice Cube, to, what's his name, Craig. He says, and tell him to comb his hair. Looked like a bunch of spiders up there having a meeting on his head.
That's good.
Classic.
So that scene where Smokey's in the lowrider smoking the angel dust with the two guys, if you look closely in the background, there's like two figures that are sitting on you can't really make out facial features or anything, but they're in the back on a wall smoking.
Just two nondescript dudes.
Yeah, they were neighborhood people that were hanging out and were like, we're not leaving. And they're like, look, we'll pay you. Like, you can be in and they're like, nah, this is our neighborhood. Like, and so they just ended up in the movie.
Like, we're just hanging out here.
Yeah, they refused to get out of the scene. So I guess being that it was nighttime, you can't really make their silhouettes.
Right.
But yeah, they were giving them a hard time. Like, it's our property and all that stuff. So I did go back to watch because I didn't see it watching it the first time. I went back this morning to watch a little bit of it and I caught it. I'm like, oh, there they are. I didn't see the Michael Clark Duncan part though. I want to go back and see him.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. I just kind of seen Debo and Chris Tucker, like, because I think that's where because he threw like the bike.
There's a circle of him standing. I promise you, he's there. And
I believe it. Yeah.
I am curious as to which version each of us might have watched. So the version I watched, I'm almost positive was an extended version for a couple of reasons. But Dave, when you talked about, it came out on VHS in 95, and then it came out on DVD in 99, and then it came out in Ultra 4K, 3D, see the future, holographic, whatever the hell kind of TV is anymore.
Yeah.
With ridiculous soap opera effect. I was able to watch it OG completely the way, like I'm watching this, it was like I was watching it in the movies. To be clear, in the 90s. So you have that softness, that those hues and tones that it really took me back to be able to watch it like that. I know I've mentioned this before to you, Dave, especially. I cannot stand high def. I cannot stand soap opera effect. I can't stand too much clarity. It's not television to me.
We should watch it on that TV. which people can't see.
See,
but
cathode ray tube. I'm all for that.
CRT, baby.
I'm all for that.
So this was released about a month after the death of NWA's Eazy-E, and it got me to thinking there was a scene in this where Ice Cube and Chris Tucker were going to the store and they were playing a Dr. Dre track.
Yep.
I think it was Keep Their Heads Ring.
That's correct.
Or whatever.
Yep.
And there was a time where, and I don't know if this was before or after, Ice Cube and NWA and all those guys were at odds.
That
He
was
said Ice Cube had left. He had did a track called like No Vaseline.
that
where
was
he-
before this movie.
It
But
was definitely before when that came out, and he was kind of at odds with all those guys. He left NWA because of issues with management and where the money was going and all that.
Mhm.
And he did that No Vaseline song, which is an awesome song where
Yeah.
he shreds them all. And but at some point in the 90s, and I think it was close around this movie, him and Dre kind of squashed the beef and were
which is why that is a great segue. That's exactly why that song was featured in this movie, because by the time this was coming out, they had squashed their beef.
because he did it was like him and Tupac and Dre produced that track. It was like what the hell was the name of that song?
Keep
There was
your
a
head.
video- not Keep Their Heads Ringing, but they were like, it was like a really good beat. That
That's
Dre
why
put
I effed you bit like that one. It was the
Nah.
Tupac one, right? Where he was going against.
no, but I know
No,
which one you're talking
yeah,
about.
that's the one I was thinking.
This one they were like in Mad Max gear and they were like rapping and
Oh.
stuff.
Yeah, that's Dre was in the Mad
Yeah.
Max stuff with
Yes.
the black leather jackets
Right.
with the yeah.
So it just got me to thinking like around about this time, I guess that makes sense. That they were kind of all right. We're cool
We're
now
cool.
and whatever
I'll
else like
put you in
that.
a movie.
But when we were in high school, I remember that. Like I used to listen to Ice Cube a lot, and he would kill them guys.
Sure.
You know.
I got one last fun fact, and this is I had mentioned earlier. I'm not sure which version you were watching or we had all watched, but in what I'm thinking is an extended version. In the very beginning of the movie, there's two kids. Very beginning, after you see the Converse, there's two kids sitting on the grass, and they're just watching, little kids watching, life go by. And Ezel's running by with two boxes in his hands,
yeah.
one in each hand, one under each arm. Those are the boxes that Craig was accused of stealing that got him fired from his job.
Man, that's some Pulp Fiction or like some Tarantino type shit.
Yeah, that is some. Oh, fun fact. This movie is on Tarantino's top 20 list
Yes.
of movies from was it of the 90s?
Yeah, it was. I had that written down here too. Well, not written down, but typed out. It was 20 best movies from 92 to 2009.
There you go.
Which
So
is,
it was influential. It was an influential movie.
this is just like a good watch, easy watch, something you can sit down and catch it wherever you're at.
It is.
and get through it. There was two other things here I have. One was, here it was about Ice Cube. I didn't even catch this when he said it, but they said he broke the fourth wall when he's going in to get water for his dad.
Yeah.
And drops an ice cube on the ground. He looks down and looks up at the camera and says, "Ice Cube, Ice Cube."
He also broke it at the end of the movie too.
Oh,
when
really?
he goes back into the house, he looks at the camera and says, "Yeah," or something like that.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know if I caught
Yeah.
that one. But I didn't even catch that he did that in that scene until I was like reading through the fun facts at the end. You know what? I think that might be it because you covered the one about Tarantino.
Mhm.
We talked about Eazy. We talked about F. Gary Gray and the floor mopping the floor, about the milk, man's best friend. Yeah, so that's
I
pretty
think
much it.
we hit the fun
Pretty
fun
much
facts.
fun facts. Yeah, but this was a cool one to cover.
Yeah.
Definitely in our wheelhouse. Now, like I said, at this time in '95 when this came out, and we talked about this briefly before we got on, I was not a big pot smoker and stuff. I know a lot of my friends that loved this movie because it was just like if you get high a lot, what better movie to watch? You
Sure.
know what I mean? 'Cause
Sure.
it is like a comedy like that. I saw this probably when it came out on VHS or whatever. We probably rented it. I remember a couple of my friends that were way into it, so I watched it back then and enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely a cool one.
Oh, speaking of renting it and enjoying it,
Oh yeah,
why don't we talk about where would we put this on the scale?
we got late fee, return, or burn. So I guess since it's your movie, you want to start it off?
I would not late fee it. I mean, I would return it for sure.
And this is 1995,
This
right?
is 95.
Mhm.
It's 95.
So the
But
video rentals is hot.
Yes.
I would watch the shit out of it, though, over those 24 hours. Like, this is one I would play it over and over and over again for that full day.
So you're returning it, but you're keeping it for the day.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
going to get a late fee on it
Not
because
for you.
I would just hope that maybe someday in the future they would replay it a lot on pay
Pay
television,
television, yeah. Matt,
which they did.
Matt, what you got?
I 100% agree with Zap on that one. I would, watch it or keep it, at home, like you rewind it and put it on again just while you're like doing stuff around the house or whatever. Just so you could hear a lot of those like classic one-liners that Zap uses. A lot of those lines are funny. So yeah, I would return it, but I'd enjoy watching it while I had it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm in the same boat here with a return. I would definitely rent it. I'd be intrigued just because of Ice Cube being in it.
Sure.
But I would probably return it. I'm not taking a late fee. I'm not burning it because I like the movie. But Ice Cube, yeah. This was definitely different for me to see Ice Cube, and that's what he was going for. Like Zap, we were talking about, and Zap mentioned before, he wanted to do, what was it, a hood classic.
Yeah, so, and this is really how I would close out my whole part of this segment, and thank you for lobbing that one out there, Dave. So at the time, there were so many portrayals of the hood that were, awful, which is not to say that it's not true. You had Boys in the Hood, you had Menace to Society, you had, Colors, you name it, just bad shit was going on in the hood. So Ice Cube had the intent of, again, like David mentioned, he wanted a hood classic, one that people could watch over and over again, that portrayed more of a lighthearted goodness that actually does exist in any neighborhood. Like people do, you're going to have shitty neighbors, you're going to have good neighbors. There's things that people do come together over. And I think Ice Cube did a really great job with that.
Yeah, I agree. We could have made one back then called Grandma's House before the other Grandma's House. We could have made that movie back in the 90s. You think?
Yeah,
I was just trying to think of a movie we could have made. But
Kramer's Place.
Kramer's.
Yeah, that could have been something.
Five Nights at Kramer's, I think Matt mentioned on one of the podcasts. That'd be a good one we could have made.
Yeah.
But I definitely enjoyed it. Speaking of which, if you guys are enjoying this podcast and we get a lot of feedback that you are, the best thing you can do to help us out is spread the word. Tell a friend, social media, repost our stuff. Like, that's how we're going to grow. We're not really putting any money as far as advertising or anything like that. We definitely appreciate anybody that takes time to listen to us, and especially if you're listening here an hour and some odd minutes into a podcast and you're still here. That means you're entertained. So definitely spread it along to friends and family and whoever else, and help us out and hit that 5-star rating as always.
Well done.
Yeah. You guys got anything else in closing?
Other than just to mirror what you just said, you got to spread the word, everybody. Spread the word to Tweety Bird. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your wife.
Yeah, for sure. And we appreciate the feedback, good or bad.
Yes,
doing
good or
something
bad.
you don't like, let us know, because that helps us to tailor this to what the listener wants. So I guess that's it. For anything else, Matt? You got anything?
Good. Thanks.
All right. So don't forget to tune in next week for hopefully another true crime or compelling story, and back with Vintage Cinema Review the week after that. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to the Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.